When the Israelites were out of Egypt, wandering through the desert, there came a time they had to pass through some mountainous landscape. And in that environment, there were the settlements of the Edomites. The Edomites were an ethnicity related to the Israelites. The Edomites descended from Esau, while the Israelites descended from Jacob. So the Israelites and the Edomites were really like sibling ethnicities. Their languages were similar, their appearance was similar. That a few generations back they had a similar ancestor, which was Isaac. So when you look at it carefully, the Edomites had nothing to lose by assisting the Israelites. Remember, there were giants among the Canaanite tribes that haunted the land of Canaan, and the Edomites lived near the land of Canaan. They bordered it, and the land of Canaan was a colony of the Egyptian Empire. Okay, so all those local kings were subordinate to Pharaoh. Now Pharaoh was gone. The Israelites had won. The Israelites now had the wealth of Egypt. Yes, they had the most wealth, they had the most money in the whole world at the time. So economically, they were a potential nation. And here's the thing, they were the sibling nation of the Edomites, or the sibling ethnicity, better said. So when the Israelites, who were quite wealthy, who had become numerous, when they passed by the habitation of Edom, remember there were no national borders back then. You only had settlements and conventions based on which river belongs to which tribe or to which ethnicity. So when the Israelites passed through a territory which people conventionally assigned out to Edom, they sent messengers, ambassadors to the leaders of Edom to ask for permission to pass through their territory. But here's the thing, the Israelites didn't even need to ask permission, because that territory that they wanted to pass through was not directly occupied by Edom. It was nature, it was just nature landscape. They did not, I'm going to say, violate any national border, because those things did not exist back then. And here's the thing, the rule of Egypt was over. So the so-called borders between the tribes also had to change. But the Israelite leaders still acknowledged Edom, because Edom was their sibling ethnicity, their sibling nation. What did Edom do? Edom resisted. The Israelites were saying, okay, is it Edom, Edom? Okay, I'll use Edom for now. Edom resisted the Israelites. Twice they made claim, will not pass through our territory. Israel did it anyway, because probably the Israelites realized, hold on a minute, this isn't even their territory to begin with. And when it happened, the Edomites militarily assaulted the Israelites. Now look at this carefully. Look at the bigger picture. The Israelites were the most wealthy nation, or at least nation on the earth at the time. They were numerous, around 3 million. I would say they were wealthy. They defeat the Mosai, destroyed Egypt on their behalf. There was no army in the world that even dared to go against them. Amalek tried, but Amalek, well, man, they failed miserably. So they were on their way to where? To Canaan, to defeat those giants and take possession of the promised land. A whole shift economically and politically was going on, which would last for generations. The promise of the Most High was being fulfilled. And here's the thing, the promise of the Most High was that through the nation of Israel, all the families of the earth would be blessed. Listen to this, all the families of the earth. That includes the households of Edomites. So if the Edomites would have paid attention, they would realize, hold on a minute, those people reaching their goal, possessing the promised land, will be in our advantage. Because when they reach the promised land and they are a blessing to all nations there, then we won't have to put up with the yoke of Egypt anymore, and won't have to put up with those giant demonic entities walking around there anymore. But here's the thing, look at this carefully. The Edomites lived near the promised land, they bordered it. Why didn't they take action against the giants and the Canaanites? Why didn't they do it? Or better said, when they heard that the Israelites were delivered from Egypt, they crossed the Red Sea, why didn't the Edomites send ambassadors to congratulate them and to see what they can mean to one another? Why didn't they do it? The Edomites completely ignored the deliverance of the Israelites. They ignored the prosperity of the Israelites. And when the Israelites acknowledged them, they used that acknowledgement to attack the Israelites. The Israelites did not harm the Edomites. They could just pass through the country without considering the Edomites at all. But the Israelites decided, no, we're going to acknowledge you, we're going to do this the correct way. What did the Edomites do? They used this as an excuse to assault the Israelites. The Israelites didn't even need their permission. But the Edomites, they had their issue. And let me tell you what their issue was. For them to acknowledge that Israel was blessed, that Israel did the promised land, that through Israel all the families of the earth would be blessed, they would also have to acknowledge their own cowardice in not facing those giants. The Edomites could have taken action against those giants, and they could have looted the land of Canaan. They could have had an heritage together with the Israelites, and that was about to happen. They were about to have an heritage together with the Israelites. But they did not want to have an heritage together with the Israelites. They want their own self-validation. They had their collective narcissism. It's not just the history between Esau and Jacob about stealing the blessing. That was a long time ago. I mean, the Edomites chose to hang around that desert mountainous landscape to make that their inhabitation, while they could have resisted the Canaanite tribes and have possession of the fertile land. They didn't do it. But now that the Israelites, who had been slaves for centuries, now that they were not slaves anymore, but wealthy investors, now that they came, the Edomites didn't want to support them. Why? Because the Edomites collectively were cowards themselves, and they didn't want to face the cowardice. So instead of facing themselves or facing those giants, they turned on the Israelites. The Israelites became their enemy. They invested all that frustration on the Israelites. I mean, what the heck? Yet a nation has been blessed by the Most High. They escaped Egypt, and Egypt was destroyed completely when Egypt went with their army after them. That already should have been a big warning to all the nations. Nobody should even dare to have an investment against Israel. Yet the Edomites did. Especially the Edomites, who had no objective reason whatsoever to have anything against the Israelites. Why? They didn't want to face the giants. They were proud, and in their pride they attacked those that came to bless them. Listen to what I'm saying here. This history is recorded so that we are inspired, so we can look at the bigger picture. I'm going to give a parable now. Your name is James. You're from the hood, you're from the ghetto, you're from, you're from Chicago, where there are many murders going on for decades. When you were in the ghetto, you had plans to begin your own shop. The people around you in the ghetto looked down on you and said, oh, get it up, man, you're owning a shop. You come from a single mother household, your dad is begging a lot of hoes around you, even your dad doesn't recognize you, and you want to open a shop. Get lost, man. In high school, people laughed at the guy. People looked down on him. But at the same time, those same people who doubted him would spend hundreds of dollars paying for tickets to see some artist coming, some hip-hop artist or some R&B or some rock artist. And those artists who are most of them are transgendered, devil worshippers, they didn't care a bit about the ghetto, about the hood, about improving the life of those people. And some of those artists were even people from the hoods that used to be from the hoods, but they didn't even care about people from the hoods. Yet those people in the hoods would pay large sums of money. Sometimes they would even go in debt to pay to see those artists, but to support one of their own, who want to get ahead. They didn't want to hear anything about it. One day, that guy from the ghetto, in a very short period of time, he got his own business. And not only that, he opened offices in Lisbon, that's Portugal, one in Dubai, and one in Seoul, Korea. He wasn't a millionaire, but man, he had 50 employees worldwide. So he made it, man. He had a lot of resistance, but he made it. Now here's the thing. His wife from Korea, because he married a Korean girl, told him, "There, you thought about going back to the ghetto and investing in those people. I'm telling you, don't do it." Then the guy, let's say James, told his wife, "There, if I do that, people are going to talk bad about me. People are going to say that I'm ungrateful, that I'm looking down on my own people." But then the Korean wife told him, "There, listen to me. When you were in the ghetto struggling, how many of them supported you?" James said, "None." And then the wife also said, "So none of them supported you, but they did support traitors and devil worshippers who didn't give a damn about them. All that money they spent on those concerts and on emulating those devil worshippers from Hollywood, they could have spent just a small amount of it in investing in your own shop, in investing in one of their own. If they invested in you, it would have benefited them. They could have invested in one another. They didn't do it. Now you escaped from that environment. You made it. So why would you invest in your enemies? What do you think they're going to do? They're going to use your investment and your own people as an insult. They're going to accuse you that you think that you're something, that you think you're everything. And the pride will turn on you and use your investment against you. They'll lie upon you, they'll scapegoat you, they will send the robbers after you to rob you, they'll do witchcraft on you. I'm telling you, there, leave those people in their darkness. You don't owe them any support because they refuse reality. They keep themselves in bondage. And when you want to escape bondage, they assaulted you. So they made plain that they preferred bondage over assisting on their own. So why do they remain with their bondage? If they come and contact you, do not trust them. If they haven't turned their backs on their old ways, if they haven't forfeited their old ways and have committed themselves to better, then don't even receive them. Because if they come, they will be wolves in sheep's clothing to kill you. Don't think those people are happy that you made it without them. They invested against you to feel good about themselves. They based their self-esteem on your struggle. So now that your struggle is over and you've made it, what's going to happen to the self-esteem? It will collapse. And they're going to blame you for it. James listened to his wife because his wife was telling the truth. Now, the same I'm telling you here. You mean to tell me that the folks who were around you rather put up with the bondage of society than supporting you in being free? You gotta be kidding me. Why don't they go to those idols they worship to ask for support? They won't do it. They're the ones energizing those idols to get their self-validation, and it is at their own expense. They don't want to see that, they don't want to face that. But you, who decides, I want to be free, oh, now that's an issue against you. And now you feel obliged in having to support those people out of the negative. Hold on a minute. They're the ones that are playing with the negative. They're the ones that keeping it on themselves, and they're the ones that enforce the negative on you at your own expense. You could have died You could have been harmed for life. They didn't care, just want to build whatever they built. Well, listen what I'm saying here. Just like the Israelites acknowledged Edom, they did the right thing by acknowledging Edom. Not because the territory was theirs, it was just open land, they could have passed through it without even considering Edom, but they acknowledged Edom. They were sibling ethnicities. Socially, based on relational matter, they did the right thing. If they would have ignored the Edomites, people would have thought, huh? Are those Israelites arrogant? They could just do whatever they want? No, they acknowledged the Edomites. But what happened? The Edomites used it as an excuse to attack them. So I'm telling you in this message, stop validating the Edomites. I don't know who the Edomites are in your life, or who are your Edomites. Stop validating the Edomites. Yes, you should do the right thing, but there are times you should not do the right thing, but should do what's best. I'm not telling you to be at war with the Edomites. I'm not telling you to have angry, contentious issues with the Edomites. I'm not telling you to attack the Edomites. I'm not telling you to fight and be in argument with the Edomites. I'm telling you, don't validate the Edomites. Just keep on going in Christ. Yes, you should consider others, including your antagonists. Yes, you should walk in love towards others. But listen, you can't walk in love with everyone. You can't be at peace with everyone. With some people, it's impossible to be at peace with them because they don't want peace. They are in the negative and they want to live at everyone's expense, especially at your expense. So how can you be at peace with such people? How can you walk in love with such people? You can't. Okay? From your part, you operate in forgiveness, in love, in abundance, and all of that. They hold on to the negative, so you two cannot get along. You can't. Just accept it. I'm telling you, stop validating the Edomites. They will not take it the right way. Why? Because their minds have been darkened. And because their minds have been darkened, the right thing, they will reframe it as an insult. And they will use that perceived insult, which is fictive, to excuse themselves in attacking you, in unleashing all the frustrations on you. Stop validating the Edomites. I learned this at a very young age. Some people, you cannot get along with them. Some people, you cannot be at peace with them, no matter what you do, because it's not you. Let me tell you, it's not you. But there's the thing, Satan wants you to think it's your fault. Satan wants you to think in terms of guilt and shame. Satan wants to trick you into thinking that you need to fix their negative attitude. First of all, a negative attitude cannot be fixed. It should be forfeited. You should be delivered from it. So there's no such thing as fixing a negative attitude. Secondly, it's not you that chose to agree against you. You chose to agree with Christ. You chose to walk in life in abundance. They choose to hold on to the negative, on the scarcity. So who's in the wrong now? They are, not you. And now they are in the wrong and they want to hinder you, so they are at ease. Look at this. Those Edomites back then, I'm talking about the literal Edomites back then, that attacked the Israelites, they were resisting God himself, because the Israelites were intended to inherit the promised land, Canaan, so they would be a blessing to everyone on the earth. So hold on a minute. So the Edomites rather had the whole world being under the yoke of Satan, under the yoke of Babylon, than having to acknowledge the blessing of Israelites. Why? Because the Edomites were cowards. And to hold on to their self-validation, they would rather have the whole world, including themselves, being in misery. Look how far that goes. Now there are people like that today, and you don't have to look far to find them. I'm telling you, whoever the Edomites are around you, or in your life, not in your life, but whoever Edomites are around you, do not validate them. Do not fellowship with them, and do not energize them. Agree with Christ. Be at peace.